Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I present you a manga that I have written and drawn and inspired by all the manga that I have seen in my like 20 years. So this is the manga that I wrote. This is my nickname, Himmu the Waferer. Waferer is like vagabond. So yeah, this is the genre is, as you can see, harem, dungeon, science-fi, adventure, action, fantasy, and action. So the world setting is, I would explain you from this picture only. Imagine there is a giant tree which is floating, and from this tree there is apples which are hanging, and those apples are like 8 apples, and those 8 apples are themselves universe. And those universe have the apples have like small branches that goes through inside of them, and those branches are and those branches are like a dungeon, a small dungeon, like nerves and veins which spreads in these galaxies. So those little the dungeons connects to this main thing, and where there is a stamp there, and this stamp is this teleports you towards the bottom. At the bottom there is a big ground, and that leads towards your upward dungeons. This is a main dungeon. So yeah, this is the world setting here, and at the stamp there, there's a teleportation circle which reach to here. There is an god there which recruits the best, like the hunters or the players or adventurers who can defeat the floor boss. They are not allowed to defeat themselves. So this is the world setting. As you can read here, the galaxies are connected with multi-spiral system and teleportation circle and the giant tree stamp, where there is a giant ground from the main dungeon start. The main system is an enormous dungeon where warrior climbs higher and higher to cover the mysteries of the universe. Each galaxy is ruled by the own god and powerful being who seeks warrior to climb the dungeon. They can be elves, dwarfs, Namekian, humans. Namekians are like those, you have seen Dragon Ball Z, right? They the Piccolo, you know that character. He is a Namekian, so I have taken inspiration from there. As I said that this thing is all inspired by all the thing that I have seen, and which god scouts their best fighters to fight and reveal the riches of the dungeon and reveal its secret. The main character, so the main character, self introduction is there, like a basic thing, starts from a human and earth, and like it would go this thing. I'm planning to make it a multi-universe like Dragon Ball Z if I had the chance. Self-taught, ancient bird, ancestral bloodline, like the main character have the blood of like all the human race or all the elf and every race possible in the alien also. You can say he have a rich ancestral bloodline. Personality and trait, as you can see here, it is. Now please support my channel. This is my channel, please. And so the chapter ones begin here. Himmu was born in a slum. He was a nomad. He didn't had any family to look after him. He used to get his food from stealing from the shops and get chased by the shopkeepers and getting beaten by them. Was his daily life. He was earlier in a church where he got discriminated by the children and got bullied because of his appearance. He had an appearance of like, and his ears were like elf, and his upper body was like a dwarf. It was broad, his back was broad. Because of this trait, he was unique among the human children. One day he was stealing food from the shopkeeper, had enough. The shopkeeper had enough of his stealing of his food, like him who usually steals from this shop. So the shopkeeper, conflict of him, constant threat, he determined to teach him a lesson. He hired some low-level adventurers, you can say E or like D ranks, to deal with him. They cornered Himmu in a dark alley to beat him mercilessly. Just as he was in a verge of collapsing, an old man appeared and effortlessly took down the adventurers. Before Himmu could process what happened, his body gave up and he lost consciousness. When he woke up, he found himself in a small wooden cabin deep in the forest. He was alone in a room, but sitting in front of him was the same old man who had saved him. The old man was Sensei Cairo. He was a guy, he was like in his 80s, but he had quite a background from his adventuring days. He was a dwarf, and because the boy our body resembles him in younger days, he took quite a liking to the boy and decided him to teach him how to stand his ground in front of his foes. As you can see, this is Sensei Cairo. I just took any random guy. I generated him from AI, so you can imagine what a dwarf look like. Yeah, right. So in his world, there are many ways to get strong. It may be political power, be a physical power, or a psychic power, or it can be like cultivation power. The boy was weak and frail. The master thought of teaching him cultivation method because it was best suited for him. In cultivation power, there are seven chakras. So, if you don't know what is a chakra, like in the Hindu mythology, I took it from there. Like in if you do yoga, and like in yoga, there is said that there are seven chakras in our body, and these chakras are like you have to open them while concentrating. This is what's said in the Hindu mythology of yoga. So yeah, I just took that thing from like cultivation and stuff, that you need to open in order to get strong, and you can unlock these chakra through yogic posture or meditation. With each chakra your power increases, and you can get stronger. So the thing is that if you even open like all the chakras, it is not like you are from Naruto or Sensei guy that you open the 8 gate and you are defeating the Madara. It is not like that. It is like you need to constantly meditate and improve your inner core and everything, and meditate and like cultivation power, as you know, the mangas. So Sensei Cairo planned that he would help the boy in opening the Muladhara. Muladhara is like the first one, first chakra. It is located in on inside of head, and this is like the basic chakra, and it helps in like root chakra, means that it helps in enriching your nerves. That is what is basically it is. But to achieve this feat you need to a lot of meditation and patience. He himself was able to achieve this at age of 25. So this is a quite a thing that you need achieved at a like a mature age or something like that. Sensei Cairo didn't had that much high hopes, so he started the boy training. He made him sit under the waterfalls for hours to meditate, and he made him run errands to get his feet strong, and he did all the exercises holding his uh, body weight on his hand and in posture of like squat for hours. He made him hunt rabbit first few days. Him was not able to catch rabbits, but through experience of failure is the main thing. He learned how to hunt, and through this arduous life cycle he was doing good, that even his master was shocked. The Muladhara chakra that he took 25 years to master, uh, Himmu was the one in the verge of opening, but he lacked main thing of motivation to grow as a martial artist. Himmu was a very naughty boy. So the harem thing and ecchi thing I have to include here. Naughty boy, and start the start of his earlier childhood, he liked to look at human breast and was attracted to them, and he liked to see every type of woman, tall, short, it didn't matter. But he was a smart guy. He didn't give in the temptation of girls. He just liked to make friends, and yeah. Sensei Cairo noticed this part of him because he was mumbling in his dreams. So Sensei said to him one day with passion that if he want to get a girl, he have like the girls around him, he have to be strong through him and start to train more arduous of meeting different types of girls and making infinite friends because life is short to worry days in. So like now the chapter 2 starts here. So I'm hoping that you will like go to my channel, man, subscribe here. Chapter 2. Days in the forest were relentless. The morning air was crisp, but Himmu barely noticed as he knelt beneath the crashing waterfall. His body trembled from the sheer force of water. His muscle ached, his bone felt as if would shatter, but he gritted his teeth and endured. Sensei Cairo observed silently across, measuring the boy's endurance. His training was merciless. He carried boulders uphill, ran barefoot over thorn covered ground, and held the squat position until his leg refused to move. Hunting rabbit honed his instinct, each failure forcing him to refine his technique. He learned to move with silence, to react with precise, and to embrace the hunger groaning at his belly. Every hardship was a lesson, but despite all his effort, the first chakra, Muladhara, remained sealed. Something deep within him stirred, but it remained locked away just out of his reach. Sensei Cairo watched him closely. Strange feelings stirred in him. There was something familiar in the boy boat. Stockly frame, in the way he bore the strain of his training. With sheer will, it remind him of his younger days, the same struggle, the same fire burning beneath layers of hardship. Him back widen and unyielded was unmistakably like the dwarf warrior. Through the boy had human blood, Cairo saw a reflection of himself in him. Perhaps that was he taken an interest in training him. But there was something else, something that made Cairo chuckle to himself. Every night he would drift off to sleep. He mumbled in his dream, and it was about fighting or training. It was about movement. The boy spoke soft curves of breast, of having an endless number of friends, especially female ones. It was clearly where his true desire lays. One morning after during session, Cairo leaned against his staff and smirked. Himmu, you dream loudly. You know, always talking about women's, their bodies, and how you want to be surrounded by them. Let me tell you something, boy. Power attracts. If you become strong enough, if you if you rise above the weak, then everyone will follow you, even the woman you dream about. Imagine elves and their elegant beauty, dwarfs women with their fierce charm, beast women with their wild allure, all these drawn to your strength. Himmu eyes widen. That simple statement ignited a fire in him. Unlike any pain or hardship had before, the motivation he lacked, the missing push, it had been in front of him all along. If strength meant endless companionship, that he would train harder than even before. Years passed and Himmu training grows more intense. He learned not just to withstand pain, but to channel it, to let it fuel his strength. His days were spent in rigorous physical conditioning, climbing jagged cliffs, balancing on narrow logs above deep ravines, and enduring countless falls only to rise again. Each evening he meditated under the moonlight, trying to unlock energy trapped within him. Whenever he reached his limit, his body screamed for rest. Sensei Kairo would lean in a whisper, "Are you going to give up now?" Thinks of the beast women with their soft tails wrapping around you, the elves' uh, priestess prettiness with their gentle hands and the strong passion. Orc women would challenge you, and just like that, Himmu would push forward, breaking past his limit again and again. So Himmu is like your like. Have you seen High School DxD? If you guys have seen that anime, you would know he is attracted by women and he gets strong when they are attracted to him. That type of mentality he have. So one night, exhausted from a day of brutal training, Himmu sat beneath a massive tree. The wind whispered through the leaves. For the first time, he questioned everything. Was he truly capable of achieving greatness, or he was destined to remain weak? Sensei Cairo, sensing his boy, doubt approach him. Strength isn't just about muscle and or endurance, boy. It's about will. The moment you stop hesitating, the moment you throw away all doubts, that is when you break through. Himmu clenched his feet. He wasn't weak. He wasn't a failure. He had survived the slums, the beating, the hunger. He had come too far to stop now. With renowned determination, he returned to the waterfall. But this time he had simply endured. He embraced the pain, the cold, the pressure. He forced his body beyond its limit. Hours passed, and his mind emptied. The world around him faded, his consciousness sneaking into the very core of being. So, like, have you seen the manhwa Bowler's Blade? I've taken the inspiration of the Himmu childhood. This is the childhood from a 0 to age 10. So this is what Himmu like. I took the inspiration from the Bowler's Blade manhwa. So if you want, you can check that out. It is a quite pretty anime, I would say, or manga, I would say. So now, like the Himmu is now 10. The night was eerily silent, the kind of that made the air feel heavier. Himmu instinct screamed at him, but he didn't know why. It was supposed to be just another night, another lesson, another day of training under Sensei Kairos, brutal but renowned tutelage. But as he watched from his tired position against a tree trunk, all he could do was tremble in helpless fury. Five men stood before Sensei Cairo, their face hidden beneath dark clothes. Their blades glinted under the pale moonlight. This wasn't a battle, it was an execution. Himmu had been caught the moment he tried to interfere. Bound tightly with ropes, his mouth gagged to prevent him from speaking. He could only watch, powerless. Cairo stood firm, unshaken, despite the odds. Blood dripped from his wound on his forehead, but his grip of his staff not flatter. So your bastard finally found me. Took you long enough. One of the assassins stepped forward, his voice like a venomous hiss. You thought you could escape your debts forever, old man. You killed our leader years ago, and now it's time to repay the favor. Himmu eyes widened. Debts? Revenge? He had trained under Cairo for years, but the old dwarf had never he had never spoken such things. His sensei had always been harsh yet kind, a man who wisdom and discipline. Now his past had come to claim him. The battle begins, but it was never fair. Five against one, Cairo fought like a beast. His staff moving like a blur, breaking bones and crushing skulls. But age and exhaustions were against him. Blow after blow, cut after cut, he began to slow. His enemy didn't relent. They strike relentless, merciless. He struggles against his restraint. The ropes digged into his skin, but he was too weak. No, he wanted to scream, but his voice was muffled. His master fell into one knee, blood pouring around him. A final strike sent him crashing onto the cold earth. The assassin loomed over him, a shame, one seared. You should died along. They delivered the last blow and Cairo collapsed. A cruel laugh filled the air as the assassins wiped the weapon. Let the brat live. He is no threat. What with that, they disappeared onto the darkness, leaving only destruction behind. Himmu gasped as the ropes were cut by the Cairo's trembling hand. His master had used the last of his strength to free him. With the last of his strength, he crawled towards Himmu and collapsed onto his lap. Blood stained Himmu's hand as he tried to hold Sensei together, but he knew it was too late. Sensei, don't talk. I get help. Cairo carved a weak smirk on his face. No point, boy. I lived a long life, but a hard one. Revenge, it consumed me, made me chase ghosts until nothing was left. And look where it got me. Tears burned in him, but Cairo blood dyed hand grabbed his shirt, pulling him closer. Listen, boy, don't be like me. Don't let anger claim you. Live your life, make friends, be happy. If you must chase something, chase women. The world is filled with beautiful ladies. Elf, beastmen, dwarfs, human. So many kind. A pervert dream ain't. He chuckled weakly, his grip loosened. That the life you should live. No grudges, no revenge, just enjoy everything. Hemu clenched his teeth, sobered eye. Cairo pressed a small pouch into Hemu's hand. Take this money. Use it to enter the hunter exam. I get you into the dungeon. Get you strong, but don't do it for revenge. Himmu, do it because you want to live. His master eyes softened. I was never a good teacher, but I had you a student. And then, with one final exhale, Cairo was gone. Hemu sat there for what felt like hours, the weight of his master body in his lap, the warmth leaving behind one of the cold embrace of the death. The night remained silent, but something inside him had changed. He wouldn't see revenge. He would hone his senses. He would live. He would live a life to the fullest, and he would become strong, not to kill, but to protect what matters. The next morning, with his master buried beneath a giant tree he had trained under his master, Hemu walked away towards his destiny, towards the hunter exam. So, guys, I will continue this thing later. Like, I can't speak this much. I am not at chapter 4, I have like 6 more. So, yeah, thank you for watching this thing.